Welcome to the Argue Your Point podcast. Here are your hosts, Jeff, Mitri, and Mason Mitri.
Yeah. Episode 20.
So 20. It's a big episode for us.
Yeah, sure is. We are on YouTube. Come check us out, and don't forget to subscribe. That way you get notified
We are
when...
on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast,
We're
Amazon
everywhere.
Music, Audible, Overcast, Castbox, Good Pods, and True Fans.
Yeah, we're everywhere, but the new one is YouTube. Can't see our faces yet, but it's a podcast, so you can listen to us. That's what podcasts are for. But, eventually we'll probably show my face.
No, run down here. We start off with Sabres game, stats and reactions, Knicks stats. Knicks blew out the Hawks. NFL draft slides / premature picks. Build NFL draft grade for me. Who had the best NFL draft, NHL playoffs, and NBA playoffs, and a little game in there.
Awesome. I bet listeners really like having a rundown, because if they just want to go right to, NBA, they can fast forward. They know that it's the last segment.
You know what we could do on YouTube?
What?
We could put tags so we can click on it.
Yeah,
But we're going off track here. But
yeah, we can do that though.
here's our essential question.
Essential question of the day.
Should the NFL adopt the draft lottery instead of just 1 through 32?
I guess to do that.
Whoa. We got first look at why it matters here.
What?
Now, the current league system is a problem. Teams tank. That's the big problem. The draft lottery, yes, teams they're going to still try to lose, but it's not a guarantee. Dallas, they had the worst chances one year, and then they got the number 1 overall pick. Got Cooper Flagg.
Yeah.
Should be pretty good. He won Rookie of the Year.
Well, Dallas
NBA.
won that. They won that lottery.
Yeah, that's something.
Yeah.
But problem is here, you could be a legitimately bad team, have really bad pick. You could be bad for. You could be like Jets. They could be bad for 10 years and get horrible.
You
Picks.
could be the worst team that if you didn't win the lottery, like in that Dallas situation, and the Islanders in hockey a couple of years ago, the worst team in the league did not get the first pick. Yeah. I mean that happens, but that's like you said, that's what's supposed to prevent tanking, because it doesn't give you that guarantee. There's a better chance, but not a guarantee.
Okay. Also, it would prevent tanking a little bit, but that's tough. But do you think the league has a good job of maintaining teams? If you need to get in the playoffs, a team they're facing the best team in the league versus the team that's tanking. That could be a problem.
In what league we talking about here?
NFL. We're still talking about NFL. That's all we've been talking about.
Okay. Do you think the league has a problem with that? Not really.
I think it does. The Raiders. They remember the last week of the season they put Max Crosby in IR for no reason. He was perfectly healthy.
Okay.
But
yeah. I mean, that's not necessarily tanking. It's we're not in the playoffs.
no, it's tanking. They were taking the Jets. They had a good quarterback on their practice squad, and they just didn't.
Yeah,
but a young
with the
quarterback.
Max Crosby thing, it's not. I mean, so the other perspective of it, the other point is, they're not in the playoffs, so why risk an injury with your star player? We're already thinking about next season. That's not necessarily, I want the number 1 overall pick, which they did end up getting. I don't know if it was sealed up at that point or not.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then that goes to the point that maybe it wasn't tanking.
Yeah. So I actually don't. I mean, I agree with it, but I still think they should put a sort of tank role in there. Tank anything to stop tanking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you want to move over on to the Sabres game?
Move on. Are you going to hit the transition button when we move from one section to another? I can do that. There we go. Next section. You could play a little background music too if you want. Put it on loop. Yep.
Yeah. I don't see your. Okay. Sabres game reactions.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you, Mason.
The only goals here were Darlene. Darlene had the one goal. He had 29 minutes time on ice.
So let's lay it out first. We're talking about Game 5 that was in Buffalo. We had a 3-1 series lead, and we're looking to close it out. And didn't happen that way. We lost 2-1 in overtime. So obviously our goaltender played really well. It was the first, I believe, and I don't have all the stats looking in front of me. I believe it was the first time we didn't win the shot total. Well, I mean in the whole series. I have the stats for this game.
Yeah, we had 26 shots. Boston had 29.
Yeah, and you know, that's only like a few shots difference there, like 3 shots, but we kind of closed that gap towards the end of the game. It was pretty wide for most of the game. Real intense game. It was a lot of up tempo, which plays to the Sabres' strength, and but you know, we weren't getting a ton of quality chances on Swayman to score in him. You got to get him to move side to side and get him scrambling laterally. That's how you score on him. I don't think we did enough of that. You know, he just if he's square to the shooter, he's going to make the save almost every time, and. Yeah, and then just Pasternak just ended up getting a stretch pass wide open to win it for Boston in overtime. You know, it's not the script that Buffalo fans were hoping for, but we've got Game 6 Friday night in Boston, and we'll be ready to go. Let's go. You know, it's 3-2. We don't want to go to Game 7. And let's finish it in Boston and go on to the round 2.
Okay, yeah. Look at the 3 penalties, both teams. Sabres had 16 block shots, Boston 23. They had equal amount of giveaways, power play percentage. Boston is 0 for 3, I think, actually. But I think it was a decent game. Low scoring, wasn't like the 6-1 game, but I thought it was still a decent game. So
it was. It was up tempo. It was exciting. It was everything you kind of wanted it to be, except for the one goal. It was like, man, it was 1-1 for so long. It's like let's just break this open. You know, let's just get on a roll and get the crowd, you know, just screaming. But it went into overtime and then.
Kozak had 7 hits.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a pretty exciting series. It's been it's lived up to the hype, I would say. I'm enjoying it. You know, the wins and the losses. So I'm just looking forward to Game 6 in Boston and Buffalo playing their brand of hockey. They've already won twice there, and I know they could take it up another level. I know they can do that. And I think they will in game 6 in Boston on Friday night.
Yeah. Okay, now we're gonna go over.
Before we do that. Let's go Buffalo! Let's go Buffalo!
Yeah, that's awesome.
Now we're going to Knicks stats. Now, Knicks defeated the Hawks 128-96, if I remember. And a great game for everybody, but I also want to talk about one guy in particular. One person. Actually, no, take that back. 4 people in particular. Okay. We'll talk about Miles McBride, Jordan Clarkson, Mitchell Robinson, Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson has 35 points. No, not 35 points.
39.
39 points.
In the last game, yeah.
Crazy game. But I want to now the 3 guys, Miles McBride, Jordan Clarkson, Mitchell Robinson, Jordan Clarkson has 16 points, Miles McBride 20 points. Those are all guys off the bench.
McBride in the last game?
No, I'm looking at minutes. I keep looking at minutes.
Oh, okay.
Jose Alvarado had 12 points. Jordan Clarkson
so the
9.
Points breakdown, because I got it in front of me, is Brunson had 39, Anunoby 17, Cat 16, Hart 9, who he's been elevated. He's not on the bench anymore, and Bridges 7. But then you got 12 from Alvarado off the bench.
10 from Sokan.
Yep, off the bench. Clarkson, yeah. So there's Robinson, and that rounds off all the point producers for the Knicks.
I want to do this real quick. I think that we're going to use that. I think we're going to have a trade. I think I want the Knicks to trade Mikal Bridges. Averaging 14 points.
We're in the playoffs.
After the season. I'm talking about after this.
What if we win the championship?
I don't care. We're still trading. Okay. Yeah, averaging 14 points for a guy who traded 3 first-round picks for. He had 7 points. One game he had no points at all. Yeah, like 20 minutes. He played him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think
need him right now. He's I like his attitude.
Right now he's doing nothing.
Oh no, he's not. He got 7 points.
That's
1 rebound, 1 assist.
That's
not great stats. He's no Brunson.
Do you think that you would trade 3 first-round picks for him?
Well, I'd have to have a better understanding of the NBA draft.
But you still trade. Well, there's only first and second. There's only 2 rounds. So.
Yeah, but okay. But the fall off is what I'm getting at. It's the drop off. So the drop off in the NFL isn't
like fourth.
Isn't so steep. In the NHL, it's very steep. Like a late first round.
NBA, you mean?
No, NHL. It's very steep. After the first few picks, it's just like, like everyone's a second rounder. In the NBA, I think might be. I'm not sure. I don't know enough about the NBA draft and how steep it goes. We can ask our special guest that's coming on later, Luke Adam. He's coming on later, and he knows a thing about NBA and ball. And we can ask him a few questions about that.
I get the control today, so I get to.
Yeah, you're producing.
Okay. I think the Knicks, what they gotta stick to the game plan. They gotta control the tempo, just like Sabres. They're not gonna win the game by going slow. Okay, they're a fast-paced team. Cat's playing the best he has been. He had 16 points and he had 14 rebounds, which is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Second most rebounds. I think not Giannis, someone else.
That is a lot.
But I think the Knicks just need to stay their draft bet. Well,
14 rebounds. Remember? Didn't I placed that bet on him?
He placed like 4 assists
to get 4 assists, and he got 6 assists in this game. He did play really well. He played out of his mind.
Okay, now we're going to move over to NFL draft slides.
Okay.
Premature picks. Number uno. Caleb Banks went number 18 to the Vikings, ranked 34th. In his time, 22-25, he had, this is total, he had 6.5 sacks. And he had 2 forced fumbles in about, I'd say 3 years, because 2025 he was injured. I had that little note. But in his best season, which is 2024, 4.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 10 solo, 11 assists.
My question is,
I don't think he was the greatest guy. I think there's probably some better guys they could have picked. Like, still available at 18, Mekhi Lemon. I mean, they don't need a wide receiver, but, there's also a lot better guys. Could have took someone like...
Was he physically at the draft? Do you know?
Who? Caleb Banks?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think he was expected to be.
No, it's because he wasn't expected to be there, to go in the first.
Again.
That's got to be... My point is, if he had an inkling he'd be selected in the first, then he might.
We're also going to talk about Diego Pavia soon. There's some big news about him off the rip. But what do you think? Do you think it's a good pick for the Vikings? Do you think it was just a really weird pick for their new GM?
I think it's. So you're talking about.
Talking about
Caleb Banks.
Take it all in.
Hold on a second.
Not what I meant.
Well, hold on. So, with Caleb Banks, who went 18 to the Vikings, he was originally ranked 34. You're the expert on the draft, I would say, between the two of us. What do you think? Do you think there was a good pick there, good value, or took him too early?
I think he took him way too early. I don't think he was. There were some great guys still on the board. I'm just trying to think off my head. There's still offensive tackle, good offensive tackle available. There were like 7 tackles taken the entire NFL draft. But I actually think, he's a good player. I don't think he's worth pick number 18. Like, even if you don't like him, you could have just traded back. He's most likely going to be there. But
all right.
I also take a look.
Let's go on to the next one. We've got, let me see, what time is it?
But
we've got about 2 minutes before Luke is going to jump on here.
Also, Dylan Seaman was still available. It's going to be great. Going to be a stud safety.
All right, let me ask you this, Mason. Gerard McCoy. He was ranked actually in the top 10 in a lot of mock drafts.
Top 5, almost.
Yeah, and he ended up going 101. What went on there? What do you think?
No, he did. I mean, he did have that knee injury.
Okay.
But you can't say that when you're ranked number 6. I thought he was gonna be. He's still a stud. He was a stud player, for the Tennessee Fly. I mean, he had 4 interceptions in 2024. That's a lot.
Yeah.
He had 26 solo, 7 pass deflected, 18 assistant tackles, 44 total. I think he was just a stud. Because he had the injuries, probably tanked his draft stock. But I didn't think he was gonna be a 4th rounder. I thought he could be like a 3rd or 2nd.
Okay.
I still thought he was gonna be. Hopefully, I thought the Bills were gonna take him, but
yeah,
the Raiders traded for him.
Yeah,
we should check him.
We could have with that. We had that pick right there.
So I think it was a bad slide by him, but I think it was a good pick for the Raiders. Got a steal.
All right, sounds good. Okay, how about Ruben Bain? He was ranked 9th. Again, another guy that was in the top 10. And he slid a little bit, not like Gerard McCoy, but he slid to 15 to the Bucks.
So I honestly think I think that he's a great player. He probably got flipped because of that car crash he was linked to.
Okay.
Or maybe because isn't he the guy with small hands? Ruben Bain, I think he is. But
sure.
I mean, 9.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 15.5 tackle for loss. I mean, some great.
Okay, we've got Luke. And what's up, Luke? Wait, hold on 1 second. How's it going? Can you talk?
Yeah, can you hear me?
It's not going through, Mason. Hold on. All right, Luke, how's it going, man?
Yeah.
Not too bad. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good here.
Yeah, we're doing great. Thanks for coming on. We, we work together, and I know you've got a really good knowledge of sports in general. And I've talked to you a few times about the draft and kind of bringing you on a little bit as a draft expert. Would you? Is that a good characterization of you?
I wouldn't call myself a Mel Kiper or anything. I think the draft is a perfect time for all the armchair quarterbacks and professional scouts to come back, because realistically, all these draft picks, you don't really know if they're going to turn out for, realistically 2 to 3 years. Like, how many videos have you seen of Bills fans being upset about the Josh Allen pick? Or Chiefs fans upset about Mahomes or something, and look how those things turned out. So
right.
I don't consider myself an expert just because every time I make a prediction, I'm usually wrong.
So we'll I'll kind of break this up into 3 different ways. Because you're a Jets fan, so I want to talk a little bit about the Jets, talk a little bit about the Buffalo Bills, and then the whole draft in general. So a lot of experts have picked the Jets, given them an A. Do you?
Whoa. We got one more projection here. Ty Simpson.
No, wait, what?
Yeah.
No. Hold on, don't do that. So with the Jets, do you think the Jets won the draft by default, or they're just have the benefit of having so much draft capital?
I really like that question, because I think any team who gets 3 first-round picks is immediately, going to be considered a winner of the draft, because nobody drafted in the first round is deemed, everybody is like, oh, this guy's going to be great and everything. So I think anytime you have that many draft picks, premium picks within the first 2 rounds, you're just by default usually going to win the draft. And the last time, the Jets did this, they drafted Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, and Jermaine Johnson, who was a pretty solid defensive end. So I would say, yeah, they won that draft, but two of those guys aren't on the team anymore because the Jets couldn't figure it out elsewhere. So, but that being said, the Jets draft didn't go how I planned. I figured it would go, but I am happy with the results nonetheless.
All right.
But got another question here about the Bills. Do you think the Bills drafted like team go for Super Bowl, or just trying to get add-on depth?
Bean he drafts very strange. I'll say that much. I would say, I think that the edge rusher they took has the ability to be an immediate impact. I think everybody past that, there's question marks about it, but obviously they have their scouts doing their thing and everything. To me, walking away from it, it was such an odd draft with all the trades and everything. It almost felt like it was more depth pieces.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't pay too much attention to like what the trades were. Did they pick up any 2027 picks?
I think they did, yeah.
Did they?
I think they picked up like a fifth. But
yeah. So I'm curious if some teams are punting to the 2027 draft thinking there's more talent there, So
yeah.
There's strategy to everything, but to me on paper, it seems like there were a lot more depth moves and, rotational players than, true bona fide starters.
So sticking with the Bills, do you think they addressed what they actually needed?
I would say so because it seems like they, immediately leaned defensively. And the only reason I say that, you could have went with a lineman there, and arguably, I think a lot of Bills fans really wanted a receiver, which I think would have been great, but I think, the DJ Moore trade might have changed things around there a little bit. And I think personally, DJ Moore is going to be a stud for them, and that'll open up things for Kincaid and Shakir and everything. So maybe they, didn't feel wide receiver was a need. I do think that, especially towards the end of the season, the Bills defense were giving up a lot of points. So I do think, I think they went the right direction as far as, what side of the ball they were picking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You think there's a pick the Bills got that you didn't like?
You know what? I mean, and this is what I mean about armchair quarterbacks. I don't pay too much attention to college ball until the NFL season's over, and then I start watching highlights. So really, when it starts to bleed out of the third round, there's just names I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
But, to answer your question, maybe not the way you wanted it, I do think I always find it hilarious when a punter is taken. So, that one's funny, but that is such an important position to. Am I wrong? Did they drafted a punter, didn't they?
Yeah, in the seventh round. Yeah. A lot of people are saying that this is kind of like for the Bills, like a backwards draft where the first few picks may be more depth, and then few of the later round picks might actually have a better chance of starting, just because of the position.
Right. And I mean, a punter is important, man. Field position's great and everything. And you usually do see, if there's a stud kicker or punter, they usually are taken later in the draft. So it's just, I don't know. To me, it's always funny seeing a kicker or somebody get drafted, and some of them are drafted really high. So it's just kind of fun.
Yeah.
But actually, before we go, talk about Bills signed a fullback, Ben Van Sumeren.
Oh.
What, just now?
Do you think they use them?
Probably.
Yeah.
It's just the fullback is like such a dying position. Do you think they'll actually use them as a traditional fullback? Or I would love to see the fullback come back, dude. Seeing a Mike Allstott running down the hole,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're gonna use them because they had Reggie Gilliam, and he was a huge part of the tush push and everything. But they took out a guy from the Eagles, so that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it is a good
and it's somebody needs to give Kyle Juszczyk a run for his money. That guy's got like eight straight All-Pros. So it's just by default. He's the only fullback left, it seems.
All right. So we'll move away from the Bills for a minute and touch on the Jets. who had 3 first-round picks. And so from your perspective, what did they do well?
So like I said, it was the draft didn't go how I planned. I thought they'd take Arvel Reese there at number 2, and then I honestly thought they'd go receiver second. Then obviously, they traded back into the first. What I think they did well, first of all, I think David Bailey, I think he's going to be a stud, but the Jets have drafted a lot of busts in the past, so I don't even want to jinx it. From the draft itself, I think they're finding their identity. They're making their identity clear, I think, on offense. They have a very young, strong core offensive line. But when you take Omar Cooper Jr. and especially Kenyon Sadiq, like that came way out of left field to me. You can tell that they are trying to build this offense based off speed. Because now you have 5 players that are sub 4.4 guys. You got Adonai Mitchell and Garrett Wilson, and then you got Breece Hall and all these guys that they drafted that are sub 4.4.
Okay.
I think they're finding their identity that way, and then taking a guy like David Bailey first overall or second overall, whatever you want to say. That's also hoping a guy like that sticks to find your future, because the Jets traded away all of their defensive studs. You got rid of Sauce, you got rid of Quentin Williams, Quincy Williams is gone, Jermaine Johnson is gone. So, it's clear to see the identity they have on offense, but you can see what they're trying to build on defense too, which is just, angry downhill runners, it seems. In the cornerback, they took Pons in the second. He's a feisty, scrappy guy. Which, funny enough, his pro comp was Aaron Glenn, of all people, so that is funny.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Something to do with it, but yeah, I mean, very excited about it, and I think they're finding their identity.
Yeah, I mean, with all those guys that you just mentioned leaving, those are core players, and then taking on these new guys.
They're all defense too.
Yeah, it's a completely new identity. But why did you say like the tight end Sadiq and Omar Cooper, where it was out of left field? You didn't expect them to go offense like that so early?
Not so much. So what I thought they'd go receiver with that second pick they had at 16. I thought for sure, they were going to take, Mekhi Lemon or somebody there. Tight end wasn't even on my radar. Just because they drafted Mason Taylor last year in the second round. So I didn't even think that was somebody they'd be looking at, And then when they traded, so that being said, I did expect them to take a receiver. So when they traded back into the first, I was excited about that. I like Omar Cooper Jr. And past, Jordan Tyson and Carnell Tate, I think it was kind of, any of these guys can be good between Denzel Boston and Mekhi Lemon and Concepcion and all those guys. So I really liked the move. I that's kind of what I was expecting, was the receiver thing. So I'm glad that happened.
Yeah, but the thing about Sadiq is he's not like huge, but he runs 4.40 for he's like a wide receiver tight end. He's a great athlete.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm thinking you pair that up with Mason Taylor now, you got a kind of a beefier tight end, you got fast tight end, and that's kind of what I'm saying with the speed that they're trying to make. They're just getting it at every position, it seems now.
Yeah, but the Jets also got quarterback Kate Klubnik.
Yeah,
so maybe they could have him starting over Geno.
Yeah, we'll see. You never know in New York. Yeah.
Who's your from the Jets picks? Who's your favorite or the pick you're most excited about?
That's a great question. I love defense. So David Bailey, obviously, but I think a guy like D'Angelo Pons from Indiana, I think, as a cornerback, he was overlooked because of his size, because he's a smaller dude. Okay. But when you watch his highlights, he plays so much bigger, and when he's running downhill, he is going to pop you. So leaving, and I'm not saying he's going to be, he's 5'8", 182, but Yeah, so it's the exact opposite of Sauce Gardner. I thought it was a necessary move because they kind of just have rotating corners right now. I don't know if he's going to be the true number one, but I think his floor is decently high. Is a very good slot corner or something along those lines. So I was really excited about that. Cade Klubnik, I'm a firm believer, especially as a Jets fan, to just draft a quarterback every year. I don't care what round it is. Just until somebody sticks. So I thought it was surprising they traded, a couple picks to move up to get him. But I think, people forget that guys like Klubnik and Aller and Nussmeier were your, projected first round picks, and then that quickly changed and they fell. So I like the potential there as well.
Yeah, great. But there are also a lot of other guys could take it. They had forgot the Miami quarterback's name.
Oh yeah.
The guy who played for Georgia last year, the year before.
No. Well, yeah, Carson Beck.
Yeah, Carson Beck.
Carson Beck, that's it. Yeah.
I thought they were going to.
Was he drafted?
Yeah, he's drafted to the Cardinals. I thought that was going to be Jets pick, or maybe even Ty Simpson if they would have traded up.
Yeah, I'm shocked that Ty Simpson went as high as he did. That was. I thought he'd fall to the second. I thought 13th was a little rich. I think they could have traded back and probably still got him. But I think as far as the situation he's in, I think it was perfect because I don't think he was polished enough to come out and start right away. And who's better to sit behind than Matt Stafford? So.
Yeah, but there is some pressure when you're the 13th overall pick. A lot of, people suggest, that was kind of an owner's pick.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Okay, you think all the Jets fans are overreacting having 3 first-round picks in the entire class?
Overreacting to the draft, you mean?
Yeah.
I think we overreact a lot. So,
yeah,
I would say we're probably overreacting a little bit, but again, only time will tell. You never know if these guys are going to be on the roster past, their rookie contract, if they even make it that far.
Right. Well,
there's always a bit of overreacting.
Yeah, of course. When they're the Sabres are in the playoffs now, and they snapped that 14-year playoff drought, and that's what the Jets are in. So from a Sabres fan, we know the feeling that it's just everything's all based on hope. You know what I mean? you hope things can work out.
And how amazing would it be if the Sabres and the Jets broke their drought? Within the same year? That would be a dream come true for me. Both these droughts just ended. I'm so excited I can watch some playoff hockey
now. Yeah. Okay, so league-wide, who do you think won this draft? I could tell you, a couple that Mel Kiper thinks that has won the draft.
I don't know, I think.
What do you think, Mason?
Dallas.
Think Dallas? Why is that?
I'm not sure the wrong year. 26. So, at number 11, they got maybe the best player in the draft, Caleb Downs. They snagged him, and then they also got Malachi Lawrence at 23. I think that was a great draft class. They drafted 2 guys. Great.
What about you?
Yeah, and again,
Luke?
my knowledge past the second, third round isn't great, so I usually kind of base it off that.
Right.
I think, which funny enough, when Kansas City moved up, I'm so used to Kansas City being good that I was like, man, they traded up far, but they were only 9th, so they didn't trade up too far. I thought Kansas City had a decent draft. You can tell they're focusing on their defense a little bit. More, but honestly, and they're often overlooked, probably, similarly to the Jets because they're just, habitually bad. But I think the Browns had a really good draft.
Okay.
They grabbed that tackle from Utah, and obviously it's
New grad.
Yeah. So,
they had 10
so he's
picks.
solid. And then, interestingly enough, they took that Casey Concepcion, who I think could be really good. I don't even know if I'm saying his name right. That's just how I
That's
pronounce
pretty
it.
close.
Yeah, it was enough, right? So, you got a receiver there. And then I think they shocked a lot of people. And I know another guy we worked with was
they got
really
another one,
hoping for
too.
this guy.
Yeah.
Steve really wanted Denzel Boston, yeah. And so when they took TJ Parker, he was a little bummed. But then Cleveland, they're like, you know what, whatever, we'll double up on receiver. And they got Denzel Boston, who was projected as a first-round pick in a ton of drafts. And then at the end of the second, they took a safety. So I think they had a really, really solid draft. But again, that could just be, having 4 premium picks in the first 2 rounds. So, but I think, on paper, that's a really good draft.
Yeah, and getting 2 wide receivers that were, in the conversation of first-round wide receivers. They get them both.
And to make it better, they grabbed Justin Jefferson, a linebacker.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great name.
Yeah. All right. Just about wrapping it up here. What was the most shocking pick in the draft?
Well, so I look at mock drafts a lot, and this guy was going high no matter what. He was going to be a top 10 pick. I don't think he was ever projected to fall out of that. But I think Jeremiah Love was drafted crazy high.
Yeah.
And I think Jeremiah Love is going to be an absolute stud in the NFL. But when you look at these top 10, like historically, if you look at top 10 running backs, they're just, even first round in general, they usually don't, you got a 5th rounder who outplays them, So I just think running backs in the first round are an incredibly risky pick, especially for a team like Arizona, who has like a ton of other holes to fill, and you got James Conner and you got a couple other running backs who could probably get you through a year. And, I just think it's an interesting pick so early in the draft. You got guys like Leonard Fournette who never work out. Of course, there's other ones like C-Mac who work out great, Todd Gurley for a little stretch. But then you got guys like Saquon who they're nasty, but they don't win a Super Bowl with the team that drafted them.
Yeah.
So just a really risky pick in my opinion. I think he's going to be great, but it's a little early for my taste.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
But I'm just going to go like off the rip here. But what do you think about Jamon McCoy? Projected 6, top 10, and then it goes 101 to the Raiders.
I don't know. Was there some like off the field issues or injuries or something that we just like didn't know about?
Yeah, a knee injury.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. And I think that happens all the time. I mean, you saw, and this is very understandable because he didn't play at all last year, but Jamon McCoy, like he fell to 101. Oh, is that who you said?
Yeah, that's who he said.
Oh, I thought you said a different name. Okay. Yeah, I was going to say I thought maybe you just got the it said 103 or something. I was like, what? But yeah, him dropping, that's very understandable because of the the crazy injury. I don't think he even played a snap in 2025, did he?
No, I don't think so. But
we got it right.
Yeah.
Also, there's a great.
No, yeah, we have just 24 stats. So
there's
no,
a great running
not.
back from the Steelers that took 7th round, Eli Heidenreich from Navy. He looks like he might be a stud. Who knows?
From the 7th round?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It's always cool seeing like one of those Navy or Army guys too get drafted.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. Really rooting for him. And of course, it's the blue collar style of the Steel City. So he's perfect for Pitt.
All right, cool. Luke, I got one final question for you, and it's kind of like a Bills-Jets sort of question. Then you want to go through your grades?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to ask this final question, then Mason's go through his draft grades. Did the Bills, after this draft, are the Bills the team to beat in the East? I mean, we didn't win, the Bills didn't win the division last year, the Patriots did. Has anything changed, do you think, in the in the pecking order of who's going to win the division this season after the draft?
The whole Patriots situation, like not so much the draft, but the situation
coach?
there is, with Vrabel, with the whole scandal there.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. I mean, looking at both teams after the draft, the people that they picked up, and then also considering, free agency and all that stuff. I'd say Buffalo's still the team to beat. It's hard to bet against Buffalo just because Josh Allen is there. I'm fully I think he's the greatest quarterback I've ever watched. And I know it's early to say that, but he's the full package.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's hard to bet against Buffalo. The only, it's just you got a rookie head coach now. And then you have, a seasoned coaching staff over in New England. I think that's really, and not that New England's not talented, there's the Josh Allen factor. And I was shocked they lost the division last year. I don't think that happens much throughout the rest of Allen's career.
Yeah. And like with no, go ahead.
Sorry. And the Jets are still last place until they can prove otherwise. And that's painful to say, but it's just true.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they could have it on paper, but they got to go out and do it. I've been listening to a lot of the Boston radio stations, and, they've been saying that, the scandal that's going on with Diana Rossini, she resigned, she's out, and they're like, I think Vrabel's safe. But here's the thing. There's new information comes out every day. And
sure, the Patriots are looking for a new head coach. They're in a search if he decides to resign.
What, that just came out today?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, there's new developments every day. I don't know if he'll be the coach to start the season. He might have to take some time off. Nobody really knows the answer to that, but it's not looking great for that situation.
Yeah, it's an interesting, and it sucks because it was his first year and he took them to the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
But, I don't know how teams, deal with that situation. And obviously if there's new developments coming out all the time, every day, every hour, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Well, they've got, I know,
really,
they've got a crisis team that they pay that comes in and says, this is the next move we should make. Something like that.
Is insane. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine?
All right.
He dug his hole, so
yeah,
he made his bed.
Yeah, and now there's a ton of memes, just like a field day for memes.
Yep.
Okay, Mason. Go ahead. Explain really quick what you're doing here.
Okay, so say some of the picks, make some reactions, make some questions, and explain them.
Okay.
Start off. T.J. Parker, B+. Davison Igbinosun, C. Jude Bowery, A-. Skylar Bell, A+. Caleb's alarms are B. Jalen Kilgore, B+. Zane Durant, C. Toriano Pride Jr., C-. Tommy Dunman, D+. Amar Reed Adams, A.
Okay.
You have the grades too. I put the position in the college.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks for coming on, Luke. I really do appreciate your time and all your knowledge and experience on this subject. Yeah, thanks for coming on. We'll have to do this again.
Yeah, absolutely. It was fun. It was an honor to be invited to something for my football knowledge. So I really appreciate it, guys. And it was nice talking to you, Mason.
Yeah.
All right, cool. We'll talk to you soon, buddy.
All right, man. Have a good night, guys.
All right, same to you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. That was Luke Adam giving us the inside perspective. Okay. That was cool, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had some really good insight.
Yeah. He had a lot of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering, does he have this written down, but he just knows all the picks?
No, you could tell he was pulling from his brain.
Yeah. So now we're gonna go over my draft grade. Any questions you have, I remember during the draft, I would rank someone and be like, "Why'd you do that?" And I'd say,
Yeah, why'd you give Skylar Bell an A+?
Skylar Bell.
Yeah.
I think that he's a great player. When UConn went around had their entire team based on him, they played great. I think that was a great pick there.
Okay. Let me see what else you got here.
We may have to skim this a little bit because we got a lot more stuff.
Yep. What time are we at right now?
45.
Oh, okay. So we have maybe 10 more minutes.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Okay. All right. I'm going to go to the Armar Reed Adams. You gave him an A. Why is that?
Well, what is his position?
Inside or
Inside offensive linebacker.
Yeah.
Well, that was their number one need. I thought it was great to get a guy.
Okay.
They didn't go too early. I thought it was just a great pick there for Buffalo. So,
All right. Then why did you give the punter a D+ in the 7th round?
he's a puncher.
Just because of that? That's a need, though.
It's
Filling a
not a huge team. They already have a puncher decent puncher.
No, I think he is like something's going on with him.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think so. That's why they drafted one.
No, they probably just wanted a replacement. They just want someone better.
I don't know.
I didn't think it was the greatest.
Okay. All right. Should we transition to the next segment?
Should we?
Which is we might have to skip one of these segments, or
Yeah, let's do that game.
All right,
this
all right,
is where
but let's
you'll-
just do like 4 questions because
do like,
we're running out of time.
do like
But these questions are all.
That-
I think these questions might. I think I might be. I should be asking you these questions.
I know.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I can. If you want to answer them quick, I'll ask them quick.
only one word.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. Which team had the best overall draft class?
Dallas,
Dallas. Which team completely missed the mark in this draft?
Jacksonville,
Who was the biggest steal in the entire draft?
Reuben, Bain,
Ruben Bain. Okay. Which first round pick had has the best chance to make an immediate impact?
Jeremiah Love,
Really? You could put that on loop if you want to. You just have to try. Oh, it is on loop. My bad.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Did any contender get significantly better?
yes,
Okay.
Jets,
Okay, the Jets. Okay. Who do you think is going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year?
again Jeremiah Love.
Okay. What about Defensive Rookie of the Year?
Actually, I might need a
It's going to be great to go back in the archive and check to see if you're right.
yeah, be cool. But honestly, for that one, I'll say Arvo Reese.
Okay. Which quarterback landed in the worst possible situation?
Carson Beck,
Nice. Okay, Carson Beck, really? For
Cardinals.
Cardinals, you said? But
Maybe.
why is that the worst situation?
Just you
Okay.
ask the question.
Who do they have a quarterback, though?
Jacoby Brissett.
Okay.
It's like,
Okay. Which team set themselves up the best for the next 3 years?
New York.
Jets?
Yep.
Okay. Did the Bills do enough to compete at a high level this season? And win? Did the Bills do enough to win the division?
Yes.
Should the Bills have been more aggressive moving up?
100%.
If you could redo one pick from the first round, which one would it be?
David Igbinosun.
You would redo that one from the Bills?
Yep.
Can I ask you who you would replace with that? Or
Who would I replace? So we took him at, let me check. So we took him at 62. So at that point, there's a lot of good guys available. But who I'm looking at right now, Malachi Fields. Wide receiver, Notre Dame. He was the great. Malachi Fields is who I was going to take. That's who I would take. That's it. At 62.
all right.
Well, we have like one more. Actually, no.
No, that's it.
Okay.
All right, now we are on to, and we're running
Actually,
against
we can just do a little prediction. PGA. We don't have to go over the NBA draft.
Okay.
Or NBA.
NBA, NHL. Yeah, we already went over the Sabres. All right, this week,
You pick first, I think.
this isn't correct. Rory McIlroy.
Yeah, he's
John Rahm. No,
Yeah,
he's
he's
not. No, he's not.
Yeah, yes.
Mason, I've been listening all day to PGA Tour Live Radio. Rory McIlroy is definitely not in this, and neither is John Rahm. He plays for Live Golf. So I thought I had it right here. Golf Cadillac Championship. All right, here we go. Here's the rankings. We got Scotty, and so Scotty's playing this week, and Rory's not, and then next week Rory's playing and Scotty's not. So so much for having all the best players playing at the same time. But yeah, Scotty is going to have the shortest odds pretty much every tournament that he enters. Last week, the Fitzpatrick brothers played. They're taking not Alex. He got his PGA Tour card. He's playing this week in this $20 million purse. So do you want me to take the pick?
Yeah, you take the pick first.
All right. Who's going to win? See, this is a course they haven't played in 10 years. I don't know anything about it. I know very little about it. Okay. But you know who I think is going to come through at Doral is Russell Henley. He's my guy. Mark it down. Russell Henley will win the 2026 Cadillac Championship. Write it down.
You actually have to do it. I'm not gonna.
Well, I just meant that as a figure of speech.
Well, you have a pen now.
Well, next week, if I'm right, we'll play this back. And
First, so you know first. What's first top 25 in miscut?
Okay, someone who's going to make the top 25, and he's not an obvious pick.
Well, I go next yet.
Oh, okay.
Snake, or not snake? It would be. Okay, so let's see. Second, who do you pick?
To win it, Russell Henley.
Henley. Okay, I'm not gonna pick Scotty Scheffler. I don't think he's gonna win this one.
Okay.
I got Morikawa.
Morikawa, that would be a nice win for him. A lot of cheers for Morikawa. That's cool. For top 25, I'm going Rosie, Justin Rose. What? What are you giving me that for?
Like that button. Okay, for top 25 for me, I'm not going to go too far down, but I picked this guy before. I'm not going to pick. I got Victor Hovland.
Nice.
Hav.
All right. Now, have we figured out if there's a cut in this?
I think they're pretty. It's a signature event. There is a cut.
No, signature events, they're not a cut. Is there a cut at Cadillac Championship? The answer is no. There is no 36-hole cut.
Yeah, we'll do. How many players are there?
Well, here, look at. We can do.
How many players are there in that thing?
I don't really know.
72, I think?
20. Oh yeah, it might be that.
Let's do bottom 72. Below 70. If they're below the halfway, which would be 72 divided by 2 is 37.
Well, let's just do someone who you think will make top 40. How's that?
Top 40? No.
Yeah.
Let's do top 50.
Okay, top 50.
Okay, top 50.
Yeah,
You got
that's
it up.
basically like the cut. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Top 50.
We could do below top 50. We could say that. Could be a bit easier.
Oh, top T50 or below.
T50 below.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Okay, it's look at Brian Campbell. If you put money on Brian Campbell, you would get 1,300 to 1 odds. Insane.
So you gonna pick him or
$5 would win you
But that's for him to win though.
6,500.
That's for him to win though.
Yeah, I know.
Feels like something else.
That would be insane. You know who just hasn't really? Joel Damon. He's gonna be T50 or below. I like Joel, but in this field at this signature event, I don't think it suits him.
Okay, like it. Okay, I'm the doctor here, so now we're gonna go. Okay.
What's that noise?
Cheering.
Just straight up cheering?
Yeah. So I think I'm actually going to get someone I know a little bit, but I know Mom likes his last name, so Denny McCarthy.
Okay. Denny McCarthy. He's a really good putter. He's one of the best putters on the tour.
Well, let's hope he doesn't putt very good today.
Well, we don't want to root against these guys, you
Yeah, we
know.
won't
Just
against them, but okay. See you next time.
all right. Till next time, follow us on YouTube, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah.